Hi, welcome to Training Talk. My name is John Cullen, and I'm your host for the weekly series here at the Institute of Police Technology and Management, as we offer you a look inside of different training tips, case studies, and some of the excellent classes we offer as we strive to train the next generation of law enforcement. At this time, I'm going to send you over to our subject matter expert who's going to share this week's weekly tip.
Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to do some diagramming. We're going to use this intersection here. What we're going to do is we're going to learn how to do a baseline offset method. We're going to start back here and we're going to actually measure, and we're going to encompass this little piece of island here, this little piece of island here. We're going to plot this stop bar behind me here and the stop sign here, and we're going to put in the first parking spot over here. Now, as you can see, this is a parking lot. When we come over here to this side here, what we're going to do is we're going to simulate that this line here, we're going to place an imaginary line here that simulates this side of the road. We're not going to plot these parking spots on this side here. So we're going to simulate the road is here and that this simulates a T intersection. So what we're going to do is baseline offset method. For that, we're going to need at least 2 tape measures. Okay, one we're going to use to establish a baseline, which we're going to run along this raised curve here from a fixed point, and we're going to come this way. And what that does for us is we're going to be able to take a certain set of measurements from one direction and then to another, either east or west. So we're going to have a line that runs north and south through our scene, and we're going to take our measurements east or west, or vice versa, however that works for you in your scene. In this case, we're going to set our baseline to run from a point over here this way, north and south, and all of our measurements are going to go east and west this way when we need to plot a point here. And all we're doing is using those 2 lines, or that imaginary baseline, to actually plot our points around where we want to take our measurements and draw our diagram. So in essence, what we're doing here is we're just placing dots by the 2 coordinates, and then we're going to go in the classroom and draw this to scale and actually plot those points on paper. In order to do this, you're going to need an extra person, because you need someone to actually hold one end of the tape when you're running your measurements off of the baseline that's nice and tight, so you know where those measurements fall into place, because this tape has to be tight. So I'm going to have somebody come in and give me a hand here. We're going to set our baseline first, and then we're going to start taking our offset measurements for each one. Okay, so what we're going to do here first is we're going to set our baseline. And we're just going to run this. We're going to say that this other side of the intersection over here is a straight line. So we're going to go ahead and run this out where that line would cross, which is about right here. And we're going to lay this tape down right here. And what this tape right here is going to simulate is our baseline. We're going to make sure that it's hugging the edge of that curve nice and good there. Make sure it's nice and tight, and we're just going to drop that right there. We're going to make sure that it's a perfect straight line. And once we got our baseline established right here, now what we're going to do is we're going to start down here. This is going to be our 0 point. Any measurement that we take from there is going to be X amount of feet north this way and east or west in other direction. Okay, so and we'll utilize our second tape for that. And what we're looking for here first is we want to plot both sides of this stop bar. We're going to run it from that curb line. So what we're going to do is wherever 0 is there, we're going to come X amount of feet this direction and take one measurement to this point right here on this baseline where it would line up with the center of this stop bar here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we'll take our 0 measurement this way first, here. Off of our baseline, we're going to say 16 feet. Okay, then what we're going to do here is we're going to plot our curb here. So we're at 19 feet on our baseline, and we're going to go out 4 inches. Okay, and that's going to give us the start point for our curb there. Now we'll just move down a little bit further, and what we're going to do here is take one measurement from here to the inside of the curb again, and we know that we're going to have to put another dot right there. And that's going to give us, we're at 21 feet on our baseline. And then we're at 1 foot, and we're going to say 3.5 inches. And then what we'll do is move here, and we'll go up to where the actual arc point is in the center. And we're going to take a measurement from there over to our baseline. And that's going to put us at, on our baseline, we're at 22 feet 9 inches on our baseline. And then we're at 5 feet 4 inches on our offset to the arc itself. So now what we're going to do is we're going to move around the other side of the arc, okay? And what we're going to do here is we're going to drag from that point on the arc over here, and we're going to come to our baseline. Our baseline is at 18 feet. And then our offset point from the other side to here is at 10 foot 4 inches. And we're going to drop a point there. And then we're going to plot the stop sign here. And basically what we're doing is we're taking a measurement again off the baseline. We're going to say that our stop sign is at 14 feet 11. We're going to call that 15 even. 15 feet on the baseline. And then our offset is at 2 feet 4 inches is our offset. 2 feet 4 inches. And we're at 15 on the baseline. 4 inches for the curbs, or for the curb from the baseline. Oh, and we're going to run our measurement over here. We know that it's a straight line, so if we know where the end of the curve was, the arc, we can go right to our straight point here because that's just going to be one straight line. And on our baseline, we're at, from 0, we're at 3 feet 11 inches from the baseline. And then we're at 10 foot 2 inches on our offset to drop that point. 10 foot 2 inches. Then what we're going to do is to plot the line for the parking spot on that side, starting over here. We're at the same spot that we were before, which is going to be our 3 feet 11 inches. And our offset is going to be at 19 foot 1 inch. Okay. Now we're going to move down to grab the end of the parking stall over here, the line. And what we're going to do is we're going to come down, and on our baseline, we're at 22 foot 10 inches, 22.10, and we're at 22.10, and on our offset, we are at 18 foot 7 inches. Now what we need to do is we need to plot our stop bar real quick, and we need to plot our other side of the island here. So what we're going to do is our stop bar, we want to take the center of it, and the center of it on our baseline is right around 16 foot even. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a measurement from the baseline to all the way to the end of the stop bar over here where it starts at the beginning. And we're going to drop 1 point here, and that's going to put us at 11 feet 10 inches. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our 0 line, and we're going to establish our point over here so we could take our measurements around this side of the island. So we're going to come here, and we're going to put a straight line straight across to here. Okay? And we're going to say that our width here from 0 there is at 23 feet 10 inches. So that's the width here, and what we're going to do is we're going to go down to where the curb starts on this side, on this island, and we're going to grab a measurement from the baseline there to drop a point here. And what we're looking for here is right where the line loses its straightness, the tangency here, it starts to go into the curve, and what we're looking for is right there. We are at 24 feet even from the other side of the road, and where the baseline runs. Now we're going to move down, and we're going to catch the end of the the bull nose of the island right here. Oop. From the baseline, and we're going to plot this point right here. And that puts us right at the tip of the bull nose at 29 feet. On this end, and he's documenting the measurement along the baseline on that side, so we know how many feet north and how many feet to the east it's going to be, or south and west, whichever directions you use. 29 feet even. Then what we're going to do is we'll move to the other side of the bull nose here from the offset baseline here. So we'll drop a point over there, and then we'll come and we're going to go straight right here where the curve starts. And we're at, on my end, we're at 33 feet, 10 inches. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to come to we're going to plot this first parking line here just like we did on the other side. So from the baseline, we're going to drop a point there, and we're going to run a straight line right to here where the pavement starts. And we're, on my end, we're at 34 feet, 4 inches. And then what we're going to do is we're going to stretch right from here, and we're going to plot the end of the line on this end. And that puts us at 42 feet, 10 inches. Then what we're going to do over here is we forgot to take one measurement on the end of this line, so we're just going to run back to our baseline here, to the end of this parking stall here. And that's going to put us at 43 feet, 1 inch. Okay. So what we're going to do with these coordinates that we just took is we're going to take our diagram and we're going to center it, find the middle of it, and place, accordingly, we're going to place our baseline here so that we can actually take those same measurements in a scale of either 1 inch equals 10 feet or 1 inch equals 20 feet, and we're going to draw this to scale with our template simply by placing those points as we did. We're going to take the two measurements and just drop a point right there, and then what we'll do is after we have all the points plotted, then we'll turn around and connect the dots in essence to make our diagram to scale of this particular scene.
Thanks for watching this week's Training Talk Tip. We hope that you found this beneficial. As you move forward in your investigations, please be sure to comment if there's any future training talk tips that we could bring to you or areas of interest. And while doing so, we'd like you to follow us on all of our social media channels so that you can stay in tune with the latest training. While doing so, also check us out at IPTM.org, where we have a large catalog of courses that are offered throughout the country. And if there's not one nearby, perhaps reach out to us and we could bring the training to you. Again, we hope that you follow along, found this useful, and we look forward to seeing you next week.